This program is brought to you by Canton Community Television. Now, from the television studios of Canton High School.
Welcome to the Dog Pound. I'm your host, Marcus Sejani. Today on our show, we have Dean Maden, who will talk about his path on becoming a varsity baseball player in his freshman season. Dean, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
Explain how you were first introduced to the sport of baseball.
I think I was first introduced to the sport, just like my dad played in college, so like he always wanted me and my brothers to play, and probably just like watching it around the house and like playing t-ball when I was like 4 and 5.
Yeah. Tell us about what made you know you wanted to pursue this sport and had a passion for it.
I think I wanted to pursue it because my family has a long history in baseball, and I've always just liked playing the game. It's what makes me happy. I have a lot of friends in the field.
Did you always plan on continuing it like throughout your career and hopefully from high school into college?
I mean, yeah, I knew I always wanted to play in high school. I didn't know if I would be any good or anything, but I'm just going.
Yeah. Tell us about the process of trying out for baseball freshman year and what was your mindset like going into tryouts?
Yeah, going into tryouts, I think it was March, pretty cold. We had to be outside. I wasn't expecting to make varsity. There was always a thought in the back of my head.
Yeah.
But I thought I was going to make JV, maybe swing at the end of the season. But I just stayed focused and got rid of all the outside distractions and just locked in on baseball for that few weeks.
Yeah, and by the end of tryouts, when you found out you were on varsity, were you surprised at all, or?
I wouldn't say I was surprised, but because like by the end of the first or second tryout, I kind of had an idea that I would, like, because you know how they do like the groups or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like practicing with like the varsity group on the third day of tryouts. I mean, I was obviously happy, but that was just like the next step, you know.
Yeah. Explain what you have done in the off season to prepare for this upcoming season.
This off season, I've been in the gym about 4 days a week, throwing. A few days a week. Been throwing since started throwing again in November. My summer season ended in middle of August. Took like a month and a half break, but yeah, just excited for next season.
Have you noticed like a leap in progress ever since like doing these workouts from last off season?
Yeah, I've definitely noticed a leap. The guys that I'm working with, a lot of college guys, a lot of D1 guys, and they've kind of like taken me under their wing and showed me like just the next step, and just made me a better player overall. Yeah.
Yeah. When a game isn't going your way or you're not playing like your usual self, explain what you do to stay locked in.
If that happens, I would say, I'm trying to remember, just stay locked in. You can't get out of tempo. Gotta stay in like a flow with yourself. Like if I'm having a bad game, I'll usually like try not to talk to anyone. I'll talk to my catcher usually, see if like try to get on the same page. And usually if I'm having a bad game, it's my problem and no one else can fix it. So I just gotta figure out what I can do to make that happen.
When this happens, like, do you see it as a challenge and it's kind of hard to overcome, or do you usually get locked back in?
Yeah, it's obviously a challenge, but you just got to do what you got to do. You got to embrace the challenge.
Yeah. Were you satisfied with your individual performance last season? Why or why not?
I would say I was satisfied. I think it could have been better. I got in the starting lineup in the third game of the season.
Yeah. And
then it just like never looked back. But there was obviously struggles. I was on the lower end of the lineup, moved up, moved down, and just kept happening. Hopefully I'll be in a better spot this year. But as a freshman, I would say I was pretty happy with my performance overall.
Yeah. How do you think the team going into this season compares to last year?
Last year we only had 4 seniors, and to be honest, none of them were difference makers for the team.
Yeah.
And we were a young team, mostly sophomores. We had a lot of sophomores. I think about 9 sophomores. We definitely have a bright future. I think this year our goal is to probably be about at least 500, make playoffs, maybe win a game. And then next year I would say that we should try to win, like make a run in the playoffs, and we should be a good team next year. This year, expectations are, I wouldn't say low, but we can definitely exceed expectations.
Is there any team on the calendar that you guys, have circled and you're really looking to get that one?
For me, I would say a team that I'm circling on the calendar is Attleboro, because I had a bad game against Attleboro. If it wasn't for that game, then I'd probably be on one of the like honor mention or all-star list, and unfortunately, that game kind of took me off of that list. But yeah, for a team, last year we had a great game against Bishop Fien. Things didn't go our way. We ended up losing in extra innings. I think it was ninth inning.
Yeah.
In games only 7 innings. We lost 6-5. It was a great game. I mean, I still think we should have won. It's bittersweet. We played a great team. We played well. Can't do anything about what happened. We do not play them this year, which is a big upset.
Yeah. What positions do you play, and which ones do you prefer? Why or why not?
Throughout my life, I've played a lot of infield. I mean, as a young kid, you just play everywhere. That's you're just taught to do that. But as in my later years in middle school and high school, I've played a lot of infield, mostly third and second and short, and I pitch.
Yeah.
I would say out of the infield spots that I like third the best. It's what I started at last year, or played the most innings at, and then I pitched a lot too, which, I mean, I was kind of expected to do that, so that was nice. Pitching's probably my favorite. It's what I've worked on the most this offseason.
If the plan's to pursue baseball in college, are you going to carry on with multiple positions or really lock in towards one?
If I play baseball in college, to be honest, I'm definitely not a good enough hitter to hit in college. So, but I would say I am a good enough pitcher to pitch in college. So I would definitely pitch in college. That would be my goal.
Mm-hmm. Explain a memorable moment from last season.
A moment that I'll always remember from last season is versus Oliver Ames. Or I got two actually. First one versus Oliver Ames. It was my first start on the mound. We ended up winning 6-0. I pitched the whole game. I got player of the game. That was just a great feeling. Your first start, knowing it kind of made me think, and I think proved to others that I belong here and I'm part of the team. And then from the full season, or the other moment is my first start just straight up was against Plymouth South. It was a Saturday morning game. It was 45 degrees. We had to drive all the way down there, right in the water. A nice field, but it was so cold. Rough conditions, but that was also a great game. I'm trying to remember if we won. We played them twice. I think we barely lost.
Yeah. I want to go back to what you said about the Oliver Ames game. Was that game the game where you really flipped the switch and knew you could be someone special?
Yeah. After that, so the day before that game was actually the Plymouth South game.
Yeah.
And I had a good game. I got 2 hits, and then I pitched the last inning. I got a save. And that showed my coach that, I can start on varsity. That's at least what I think. And then I started the next day, and I played good, and then just never looked back from there. And I pitched against OA twice, and we won both games.
Mm-hmm. How does it compare playing with your club baseball team compared to Canton's varsity team?
My club baseball team, it's definitely one of the better teams in the state, so it's nice just being around a bunch of top quality players. And we had a great season. We went 27-4, I think. And it's a lot different than being around Canton, because my summer team's mostly the best players in my age from all the high schools around. And in Canton, it's more of a competition, I would say, because there's a lot of teams that are better than others. Taunton one year had 8 D1 commits, and that's crazy.
Yeah, so in club you're kind of surrounded with elite talent all around you.
Yeah.
And then high school is just kind of the best talent we have in the school, right?
Yeah, I mean, and there's still great talent at Canton.
Yeah.
But it's just different when you have a bigger group of guys to select from.
Were there any seniors who you looked up to last season when it comes to being a leader, and explain why or why not?
Yeah, we had 3 seniors last year. And like I said, none of them were difference makers, but we had two of them were captains, Owen Lane and Nick Gillis, and they both just showed like leadership traits, and I would say that's what I looked up to.
Did either of the two go on to play in college?
Nick didn't, but Owen plays football at Mass Maritime.
Yeah. Explain what advice you would give to a new freshman trying out this spring season.
For a new freshman trying out, I would just say, like, you can't like listen to what others think when you're trying out. Like, you can't, if kids are like saying like you're not gonna make varsity, you just gotta ignore that, and you just gotta stay focused. To be honest, just try to play your best game.
Yeah. And you think your experience trying out last year as a freshman and making varsity, like you'd be able to help a lot of people out with that this year?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of questions that people could ask, and I would say I have the answers to some of those questions.
Yeah. Tell us about things you do mentally or physically before a game, or any pre-game rituals in order to prepare.
For high school, we usually like for home games, they would be at 4:15, and we would get to school at 2:30. So we would just hit for 45 minutes and go on the field and stretch. So it's just the same routine every time. But there's not like a specific thing. It's just like your normal activities, and because there's not a lot of time. But for summer, say we have a game at like 11, and it's like 45 minutes away, so I'll leave at like 8:30 or something. Then I would usually get Duncan in the car.
Yeah.
And then I would put on my headphones, take a nap until we got there. It's a different story if I'm pitching or not. If I'm pitching, that's what I would do. If I'm not, then I don't know. You just like talk to my dad in the car, whatever.
If you weren't to do any of these rituals and kind of just show up to the game normally, you think it would throw you off your game?
Yeah, I think it would throw me off because it's kind of just like a habit to do, and like stretching and stuff like that. Like you have to do that.
Yeah. And then, are there any like certain achievements or accomplishments you're looking to achieve this season?
Achievements for high school.
Yeah.
I would say hopefully underclassmen of the year, maybe Hawk All-Star. That should be the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And as a personal goal, and then for a team goal, make playoffs.
And then when it comes to your club team, are there any achievements over there?
Maybe win a few. I mean, we won like 3 tournaments last year. Maybe win a few more, and maybe get like a tournament MVP or 2.
Mm-hmm. Have you received any college interest over your time playing here so far?
Well, the rule is for baseball is you can't get contacted by coaches until August 1st of your junior year. So I gotta wait a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
But I've like emailed coaches and stuff like that, and they've emailed back, shown a little interest, and invited me to camps and stuff like that.
Yeah. So you wouldn't be able to receive a real offer until at least your junior year, right?
Yeah, at least August my junior year.
All right, well, thank you, Dean, for being here and telling us about your baseball career. For Canton Community Television, I'm your host, Mark Sejani. Thank you for watching.
Our Period E crew today is Jasha Madre, Glenn Makarov, Aiden Martinetti, Donovan O'Connor, TJ Porter, Luke Richards, Sam Siegel, Larissa Sindor, Elizabeth Tavares Reyes, and I'm Connor Moran. Thank you for watching.
What do these people have in common? Sportscaster Bill Titus at Fenway Park. Reporter Kylie Gaylor at KVVU Las Vegas. Or me, Dylan Larenko of the JFK School. We all got our start on Canton Community Television, TV worth watching.
This program is brought to you by Canton Community Television. Now, from the television studios of Canton High School.
Welcome to the Dog Pound. I'm your host, Luke Richards. Today on our show, we have our guest, Michael Roberts. Over the summer, Mike caught an invasive fish in the local Canton MA reservoir, bringing attention to local town officials. Welcome to our show, Mike.
It's a pleasure to be here, Luke.
Now, Mike, please tell us how you got into fishing.
Well, I've been fishing ever since I was a kid. I live on a lake, the Canton Reservoir, and I got my first fishing rod for Christmas, and I've been fishing ever since.
And what age would you say that was around?
Around 5 or 6 years old.
Oh, wow, nice. Now describe what it was like when you caught your first fish.
Well, my first fish that I caught was actually on the ocean. I was on a fishing boat in North Carolina, and I caught a stingray on a pier on Kitty Hawk Beach.
Wow, interesting story. Now, please tell us what fishing means to you.
Well, fishing to me has kind of been a lifelong hobby of mine. It means a lot to me to get out on the water and have a good day of fishing. So I see it as a way to just relax and have fun with my friends.
Yes. When you say it's a great way for you to get on the water and relax and have fun with your friends, do you tend to have more fun when you catch fish, or just like being out on the water in general?
I tend to have more fun the more fish I catch. I like the thrill of catching fish and reeling them in and stuff.
Oh, nice. Now, explain to us what it's like fishing here in your hometown of Canton, MA.
Well, in Canton, there's a lot of bass and sunfish, so there's a wide variety of fish that are able to be caught, and there are many good lakes to be fishing at. So the fishing scene is pretty lively in Canton, Massachusetts, I would say.
What's your favorite type of fish to catch?
Bass.
What do you use as bait to catch them?
I use like Senkos and like worms, like rubber baits and stuff to catch them. Sometimes like fly baits.
Do you just catch and release, or do you keep it and eat it, or?
I catch and release. I never eat them.
Oh, good. I wouldn't either. Now tell us about you catching the snakehead in the town reservoir.
Well, the snakehead was a thrilling battle, to say the least. It's a vicious predator that lives in the waters of the Canton Reservoir, and it's an invasive species that kills all the other fish in the res. So when I caught one, it was definitely a good experience to have one less of them in the water to ruin that ecosystem.
Were you scared at all in any way when you caught it?
No, I wasn't scared. I was nervous it was gonna like get off the line, but other than that, I wasn't like scared anyway.
Did it try biting you at all or anything with its sharp
Yeah,
teeth?
it bit me in my hand and like almost bit me in my arm, but it didn't.
Did it hurt when you got bit?
Yeah, it hurt.
Okay, and then explain to us what you did with the fish after you caught it.
So me and my friend quickly disposed of the fish in a safe and humane way, and we threw it on the land after we had disposed of it, so it couldn't get back to the water and harm the ecosystem anymore.
Yes. And now, can you explain to the audience what a snakehead actually is?
So, like I said previously, it's an invasive species that kills all other living things in the reservoir, and it's very large with very sharp carnivorous teeth that can eat fish, and it's just overall bad for the environment. So the people around the reservoir want them out of the res, so it's good to catch them.
Yes, the snakehead is like the top predator to the largemouth bass. Were you happy when you caught it, knowing that it could help save some of the bass that you love to catch?
Yeah, I'm very happy. It was a good experience.
Describe why it is so important that you caught this fish.
Well, it's important to me that the ecosystem stays safe and that we can save those largemouth bass so that they can continue to live in the reservoir and stay safe.
Can you explain to us what it means for the ecosystem at the Canton Reservoir now that the town knows they are in there?
Well, now that I raised awareness to that these are in the water, more and more people are using the bait that I use to catch the snakehead, and more people are fishing in the correct spots where the snakeheads hide out. So more and more are being caught every day, and we are making a solid attempt to completely clear the reservoir of all snakeheads.
What is like the ideal habitat and spot to catch a snakehead at?
Well, from my fishing experience, they like to sleep and like swim around under the lily pads on the reservoir to stay away from the sunlight. And they like swimming around shallow spots where they are close to the land because they can also walk on land. So they like to stay near the land and somewhere where they can climb up out of the water.
Now, what bait do you usually use to catch these snakehead?
Well, the bait that I used was a white Senko worm, which is like a small rubber worm that you put on a hook, and I'd say it worked pretty effectively.
Now, when you were reeling the snakehead in, how long did it take? Did it put up a big fight reeling it in, or?
Yeah, well, to put up a big fight, and I was on a kayak, so we didn't really have a lot of room to reel it in and put it on a boat anywhere or in a cooler. So due to my like underpreparedness and stuff, it kind of took us like around 20 minutes just to reel it in and get it disposed of and out of the water.
Yes. And can you compare and contrast this snakehead to other fish in the region?
Well, most other fish aren't carnivorous or don't eat other fish quite like the way that the snakeheads do. They most fish like pickerel and largemouth bass eat like not each other and stuff. So the snakehead's more of a threat to the environment than other fish might be.
Yes. Should people be concerned about these snakehead in our local waters? Why or why not?
Yeah, I think that if there's a snakehead in your local pond or something, you should definitely make an effort to get it out because they can reproduce very quickly and they can also completely ruin the ecosystem of your lake if you leave them in there for too long. And there would just be no fish in there after a while if you let them do their thing.
Now, what's the best way of knowing if there's a snakehead in your pond or not?
Well, obviously catching one obviously raises awareness, but then also if you find a shortness of fish or other wildlife in the reservoir, then it or in your local lake, then it might be a sign that a snakehead is in the water.
Do you think that our local bass population is deeply threatened by these snakehead in our waters?
Yeah, I think that it's a big threat to our bass population.
Does it worry you at all?
I'm not worried because I think that we'll be able to sort out the problem quick enough before it could really turn bad.
Would you say there's a chance that it could wipe out the population of our bass entirely?
No, I don't think that'll happen.
How do you plan on like continuing to catch these snakehead? Are you still going out fishing now, or do you wait till it's springtime again?
I try to fish as much as I can, so I'm kind of going after them anytime I can, anytime I have free time to fish. I like to go out and try and catch a couple on a kayak or ice fishing or something like that.
What's like the best time of year to catch one? Like the ideal temperature, the ideal time, sunlight in the dark?
Well, the most I've seen caught have been during summertime, so I would assume like hot weather, when they're more likely to be underneath like a lily pad or like a fallen branch or something like that. It's easier to find them.
Now, what time of day did you catch it at?
Like middle of the day, like 2 p.m., 3 p.m., something like that.
Yes. What would you say, like, other than the snakeheads, is like threatened? Would you say it threatened, or other than the bass, does it snakeheads threaten other species too, like sunfish and pickerel and pike?
Yeah, they eat everything, so they threaten everything.
They threaten everything. Now, do you think you would ever think of like organizing like a website or a committee on getting rid of these fish, or, like having like a fundraiser for like people to go catch them and get them out of our waters?
Well, I don't know how to do that sort of thing, but I think if someone were to raise awareness by doing a fundraiser or something, it would be a good help to our cause of getting them out of the water.
If someone was to do that, would you participate in that fundraiser?
Yeah, I would.
Now, have you ever caught one in not just the reservoir, any other ponds locally, or just at the res?
No, right now I've only caught one at the reservoir.
Have you ever tried to like go catch them anywhere else, like any other local ponds, like Bolivar or Shepherd's Pond, anything like that?
No, I don't know if they're in any of those other ponds. I think they're just in the reservoir right now.
What leads you to believe they're only in the reservoir at the moment?
Because no one's ever caught one in the other ponds.
Do you think there's a chance that they could swim either up or downstream out of the reservoir into other local waterways in Canton?
No, the reservoir isn't attached to any other local waterways in Canton.
That's good to know. Now, when you were on a kayak, trying to bring it on a kayak, was it like hard to like bring it up? Like, did it weigh down the boat or whatever? Was it pulling you around the water?
Yeah, it was putting up a fight, but we we got it done. We got the job done. So no complaints.
Now, was your friend a big help to you in reeling it in? Did he have like a net with him to catch it, or did you just have to like barehand it and just get it into the boat?
Well, he was the one that gave the bait. He was the one that brought the bait. I mean, to catch it. So without his help, I probably wouldn't have ever caught that fish. So props to Gavin O'Toole.
Yes. Would you credit him with some of the helping you catch it, or would you just say it was just your fault because you could have bought that bait anywhere?
No, I definitely credit him. He was a big help during the whole situation. So
Do you
definitely.
think you would have been able to catch it without him?
Maybe. I don't know. Depends like what kind of situation, but I think if I had that type of bait, I could definitely catch one on my own.
Now, how many snakehead are you aware of that have been caught in the reservoir?
Not that many. I think only 3 or 4 have been caught so far. So definitely need to catch more.
And how many snakehead fish have you caught?
I've only caught the one that I've told about so far. I haven't caught any others yet. I haven't had any luck.
And after you caught the first one, did you like go back fishing for more of them? Like, how many times have you tried to catch them throughout the whole summer?
Well, I go fishing frequently, so I haven't had a chance to go out this winter yet, but I'm hoping to get some ice fishing in when the res freezes over. So I'm hoping to catch more as the seasons go on, but right now I've only caught one in the summer, so I don't know about how likely you are to catch one during the other seasons, but I'm going to see if you can ice fish them, and I'll have more information on that topic at a later time. But right now, very little is known about like what they do during the other seasons and stuff.
Yes. So when you go out there, are you purposely trying to catch snakehead, or using a specific type of bait? Or are you just trying to catch anything that bites?
Well, I go out there with the bait that I caught the snakeheads, but I usually rotate around trying to catch bass and then pickerel and then maybe like sunfish if I'm bored. But then I usually throw the bait on there and cast in certain spots so I can catch the snakeheads or try to catch the snakeheads once in a while.
What are these certain spots?
Like small areas with a lot of vegetation in the water, like kind of hidden and like shaded by trees and stuff, like smaller areas, like kind of like lagoons in the lake.
Are these spots like hard to get to? Like, can you get to them on foot, or do you like need a kayak or boat?
No, you'd need a kayak or a small boat to be able to get to some of these spots, I would say.
Are they like generally like shallow waters, or like do you like scrape the bottom sometimes in your kayak?
Yes, I scrape the bottom frequently in my kayak trying to catch these fish, but some of the spots are actually deeper, like 3-4 feet deep, but then some of them can be less than a foot deep if you.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Now, when you fish out of your kayak, do you stand up and cast, or do you just sit down the whole time?
I have to sit down. I don't have like a kayak where you could stand up and cast. I'd probably fall out if I tried to do that.
Do you think it's like as comfortable for you when you're out there for hours on end, just sitting down casting, like leaning back?
Yeah, no, it's uncomfortable, but we just endure it as fishers, like we just endure through the hardships of catching these fish and try and make a difference. But yeah, no, it's definitely uncomfortable sitting down the whole time.
And then lastly, tell us if you plan on trying to continue to catch these snakeheads, like why or why not?
Yeah, I will continue to catch these snakeheads to try and protect the ecosystem of our reservoir and the ecosystem of Canton as a town. And just in general, I like to catch them. So I'll definitely keep my pursuit going to catch these fish in the future.
Yes, that's good to hear. Thank you for your time today. Hopefully, your efforts contribute to preserving our natural habitat. For Canton Community Television, I'm Luke Richards. Thank you for watching.
Our Period E crew today is Jason Madry, Aiden Martignetti, Connor Moran, Donovan O'Connor, Sejani Porter, Marcus Sejani, Samuel Siegel, Larissa Sindor, Elizabeth Tavares Reyes. I'm Glenn Makarov. Thank you so much for watching.